In this video I'm going to show you how I made this badge using 3D printing and Fusion 360, so make sure to stick around. I got my inspiration when I was browsing on Etsy and I came across the username aweek. You know what, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name, but by the way, you should check out his YouTube channel, AVE. He has a quite special style of videos, and even though he has a quirky style, he's really knowledgeable. But anyway, I found this sticker which says, "Do not dumb here, no dumb area," which I found was pretty funny, if you have that kind of humor anyway. I wanted to make my own version of this, but in my native tongue, which is Swedish. When I started to think about it, I thought perhaps I could add a funny picture of a comic figure looking stupid. So I used Microsoft AI image generator Copilot and wrote my prompt, but in Swedish, that said, "A vectorized image in black and white depicting a humorous face of a foolish man." I got something similar to this. They are not the exact ones that I got, but I actually think they look kind of funny. This is the actual one I chose. Note here that the images generated are not in SVG file format, which is what the image file I wanted to be able to import into Fusion. So I have to use a PNG to SVG converter. I used Adobe Express Web Converter. It usually works really well and seems to correct all those very small islands that would almost be impossible for the printer to print. So in Fusion 360 I just began to model up a flat surface. Right here I was not sure about the measurements of the layout, but I just wanted to see if I was able to input the SVG file and extrude the outlines to see how it would come out and if I think it was printable at all. So at this point I thought it looked pretty cool, and I think all the details on the face would come out okay on the printer, so I proceeded to add some text. First the warning text here in Swedish. I picked a font I liked. At this point I wasn't sure how I would proceed, but I thought the warning text at the top looked a bit empty, and chose to frame the text similar to what I took my inspiration from. Then I continued with the descriptive text below. This text I chose a different font. I made the first row of letters, and when I felt happy with the size I just copied the text and moved it, and then changed the text content. Now I have the descriptive text finished. Next, I also decided to add warning text in an unknown language. I thought that, as in the original, it adds a dimension to that this is a rather stupid sign that tries to be serious. So here I found the easiest way for me was to use Google Translate and choose a language on which to generate a foreign language. But here I had no good way of get the characters from there to Fusion, other than to take a screenshot of the text from Google Translate and then export this PNG image via Adobe Express to an SVG file. Now I could go on to make the stop symbol. Here I wasn't so precise. I just started by making a circle that started roughly from the center of the figure, and then I used the command offset to get the outer outline of the circle. Then I finished the stop symbol with a line that will go across the figure. Unfortunately, I didn't have orange and black in the same material. The orange that I want to use was in PETG filament and the black color was in PLA filament. When I did a quick Google search on this, it says if you start to print with PETG with the printer settings for this filament, it will not be suitable for printing PLA, because PETG uses much higher printing temperature and this will not benefit the PLA. So before I wanted to commit to a whole print, I did a small sample print from a section of the design. So in Fusion I made a sketch on top of the part and I made a small rectangle. Then I used the split body command and used this rectangle as a split tool. Then I imported the split body into Prusa slicer. One neat thing with Prusa slicer is that it auto-detects different layer heights and asks you if you want to add a color change. Yes, please. So, said and done. I imported the G-code for the test print to the SD card and started to print. It came out looking pretty nice. Only the thinnest details, which are hairs, did not come out. But this is expected as they thin out into almost nothing at the tip. I felt somewhat confident to proceed printing this, but I wanted to see if the PLA did adhere to the PETG, and I actually noticed that if I bent the test part, it did separate. All this considered, I felt that I wanted to proceed anyway, and I started to print the design as a whole. And here it is finished. As you can see here on the print bed, it came out looking really nice. And here is some additional footage of how I mounted it with some double-sided adhesive tape to my door. I'm not exactly sure about the placing outside of a door to a room like this. I don't know. What do you think? Comment down below where you would put it. Well, that's it guys. So to round up this video, I thought this was a really fun little project. I usually don't do these kind of graphic designs and I'm really pleased with the end result. But I think it came out looking pretty good. I hope you found this useful, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving this video a like and maybe leave a comment. Okay, that's it. Bye bye!